quit or leave meeting.
And the picture off.
I want to take the sound off.
Morning.
Jenny.
Oh, we'll be using the red book, so if you could come up and grab.
Hi, Jenny.
Morning, Bob and Lisa.
Morning.
Morning, June. Morning, June.
Morning, Francis.
Good morning, June.
Okay, I'm just going to mute you all.
Morning, Dana.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to those who are here in person, and also welcome to those who are joining by Zoom. It's been, well, 3 weeks now for me to be here in person. Last 2 weeks, I've been down with COVID and just getting over it now, feeling better. Still a little lightheaded, but much better than before. Fortunately, the silver lining on all this is that for the past 2 weeks, we've had other ministers here, so it wasn't as if we couldn't hold service. And thanks to Roy Sensitive for all he did during my absence, as well as our members here who carried on despite my absence. So thank you very much for everything. I'd like to begin this morning service with a moment of silent meditation, followed by the recitation of the name of the Buddha or the Onenbutsu. No more knobs, no more knobs, no more knobs, no more knobs, no more knobs. Let me just turn off my phone. Next, we'll be having the reading of the homage and three treasures. And it is in your book, the red Satan that you have. Oop. I think not everybody's. Let me just, sorry, mute you all. Okay. If you turn to page 2 of your red Satan, it's written there as well, and it is also on the screen. Homage. Hard it is to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult it is to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we are hearing them. If we do not gain emancipation in the present life, we may not be free from sorrow in the ocean of births and deaths. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures. We go to the Buddha for guidance. May we always walk in the way that leads to enlightenment. Everyone? We go to the Buddha for guidance. May we always walk in the way that leads to enlightenment. We go to the Dharma for guidance. May we be submerged in the depth of the teachings and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. We go to the Dharma for guidance. May we be submerged in the depth of the teachings and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. We go to the Sangha for guidance. May we all with one accord live the life of harmony in the spirit of oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness. We go to the Sangha for guidance. May we all with one accord live the life of harmony in the spirit of oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriads of kalpas, hard it is to hear such excellent and profound teachings. Now we are able to hear and receive them. Let us try to understand the Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Next, we'll have the sutra chanting. We will be chanting the Jusage first in the Japanese and then follow that by the chanting in English as well. In the red Satan, it's on page, what page was that?
55.
Thank you.
Red book.
Page 55 on the red Satan. Okay. Namandobs, 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 namandobs. 가건 조세가 이심을 줘도 시간만속 세부조쇼각 가오무려고 의다이세슈 의사이쇼빙을 세부조쇼각 가시조부드도 묘쇼저지보 극교미쇼모 세부조쇼각 리역진쇼네 조회슈방교 지금은 저도 이쇼대니시 진리에 나이고 부쇼무사이도 조조 그나 가이지에게 메시고모와 해석을 조하그노 쓰다드세주모 고서조만석 이여러지모 니지가드주주기 댕거무게 이슈가요소 고세그도그오 조다이슈주 세모시시그 그여이사이버스 그성그슈도그오 간네시스조마 도그이상가요 여무드무게지 쓰다드미후쇼 강가그에릭 도시사이쇼소 시간야고가 다이세오가노 고그쇼데니 도지묘게 묘도세이사이 노드보다이시 오조 아나고 노모노스. So if you all join me on page 117 of your Red Satan, we'll be chanting this in English now, versus reaffirming the vows, and it's also on the screen for those who are joining by Zoom. Nomondops, 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 nomondops.
나만다무스.
I have made unrivaled vows and will reach the highest path if I enlightenment, but unless my Buddha name resounds throughout the universe, may I not attain Buddhahood. I will practice a noble path, wisely, mindfully, free of greed. Seek to reach a supreme way. Be a guide to one and all. May my power shine great light to illumine and dispel the darkness of the three poisons and save all from suffering. With eyes of wisdom I'll remove the darkness of ignorance. I will close all evil paths, open gates of highest good. When I attain Buddhahood, light will shine throughout all lands, light brighter than sun and moon, outshining all heavenly lights, giving my virtues to all, not forsaking anyone. I will proclaim the Dharma like the roar of a great lion, bowing before all Buddhas, steadfastly gaining virtues, with wisdom fulfilling my vows. I shall be a guide to all, like the wisdom of my teacher. May my wisdom also shine all throughout the universe and illumine one and all. If I shall fulfill these vows, may all lands tremble with joy. From the heavens wondrous flowers rain down upon all the lands. Namanavu, Namanavu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namandavs, 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 namandavs. Please join me in Gasho. Namamidavs, namamidavs. So as I mentioned earlier, for past couple of weeks, I've been a little bit under the weather with COVID. It happened 2 Thursdays ago. I started feeling not that well, and I went home. And at first I thought it was just a common flu, because my daughter had the flu the week before. She tested and came out negative for COVID. So I assumed, oh, I must have just got the flu from her. But this continued on, and come Sunday, I was still not feeling that well. And on Sunday, we had our Hanamatsuri, and the Odori group, we were supposed to have dancers coming for the Hanamatsuri and Keirokai luncheon. And that morning, Matsuno sensei called me saying that her husband, Tom, had COVID, so they weren't going to be able to come. And she was describing what he was going through, and it sounded just like what I was going through. So I thought, oh, I better test myself. And so that's when I tested myself, and sure enough, it was COVID. And it lingered on till actually right through the national AGM. And I'm finally starting to feel a little bit better, but still have this lingering cough with me. Anyways, because of that, the COVID, I started thinking about how things have changed over the duration of the pandemic. And I brought out, looking back, when I want to think about things that have happened in the past, I sometimes go back to some of my old Dharma talks, because I usually talk about events that are current at that time. And so when the COVID first started, it was much different scenario than it is today. I mean, today, we treat it almost like the flu, basically. And it's not as worrisome as before. But I came across this article that I had written. And in it, I talked about how, we were just going into this COVID and starting the Zoom services and whatnot. But along the way, where was that? Oh, yeah, okay. So during this beginning of the COVID period, there was a lot of panic that was going on. And one of the things that we were running out of was these masks, especially the N95 masks, I think they were called. And at that time, it was still, Donald Trump was still the president of the US. And he was putting on a War Measures Act in which he was getting the 3M company to stop sending masks to Canada, right? A very protectionist way of thinking. But I was looking at, in my talk, I mentioned that, in fact, what we were upset because we were on the end of not receiving the masks. But what, in fact, President Trump at that time was doing was what in Buddhism we call conventional thinking or consciousness, or discriminatory thinking. Okay? And we do this all the time. So you choose, in his case, he's choosing the people that vote for him, the people in the States, over those who don't vote for him, people of other countries, right? And it's not restricted to just President Trump. We do this all the time. We choose which is good, which is bad, white, black, right now the NHL hockey playoffs are on, and we do this all the time when there's sports games, right? The team that you're rooting for, they're the good team, and the other team is the bad team. So we do this in our daily life. And this is called conventional thinking or conventional wisdom or discriminatory thinking. And different from this, however, is a deeper wisdom. And this is in the Buddhist terminology, we call it non-discriminatory wisdom. And this is the wisdom and compassion that we talk about when we talk about Amida Buddha. This goes beyond, the likes and dislikes of myself, and it goes beyond, it is true compassion for others. And in thinking about this non-discriminatory wisdom and compassion, it reminded me of a very famous Japanese folk tale. And it's called Ubasteyama. Ubasteyama. Some of you know of this. Ubasteyama is a story, and apparently there is some truth behind it. But many centuries ago, when things were not well, times were not well, there was a shortage of food. And so people had to make decisions. And one of the very difficult decisions that they made at this one village was that the seniors who were no longer productive in society, if you will, they were taken to this mountain known as Ubasteyama. And it was a tradition where basically they were abandoned in these mountains for, I guess, the rest of the village so that they could have enough to live. So the story is about a son who's taking his elderly mother up to this Ubasteyama. And so he is actually carrying her on his back, piggybacking her. And as he's going along, of course, he's not happy to do this, but it's something that he realizes for the village that he has to do this. And so as he's taking her further and further into the mountain on his back, he can hear that she's actually breaking branches along the way as they go. And as they continue to go further and further, it starts bothering him, hearing this clicking, cracking noise of the branches breaking. And finally, when they get deep into the mountains, he asks her, "Why are you doing that? Are you trying to find your way back home?" And she says, "No, I don't want you to get lost once you leave me in the mountain." And so, of course, the story goes that the son couldn't leave his mother behind and brings her back to the village. But this story is telling us about conventional wisdom versus this non-discriminatory wisdom. Here, his mother was completely concerned about her son, not her well-being, right? She was breaking the branches off so that he could make it back. And yet, when you think about what he was doing, you know, he was actually taking her to drop her off. This is the wisdom and compassion of the Buddha, is the one that goes beyond, is not caring about the self, but truly thinking of others. And when we encounter this compassion and wisdom of the Buddha, we realize that we are in a greater oneness that exists. And when we receive this compassion, we must also reply to that compassion and share with others our sense of gratitude, and also, as well, try to share with this non-discriminatory wisdom and compassion. And so, going through this COVID-19, you know, I realized a number of things. Is that one is that we have a core group of wonderful members here who can continue on with services even though I was absent, but also that, in fact, the core tenet of Buddhism states that there is going to be suffering in life, that sickness, illness does not ask us, is this a good time for you to get sick? It just happens. And so as we continually listen to the teachings, Shinran Shonin, the founder of Jodo Shishu, states that the most important time is right now, here and now, is to receive this compassion. And as we receive it, we awaken a deep sense of gratitude. And so in this appreciation, I would like to ask you again to please join me in Gassho as we recite the Nembutsu together. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Sunday service. And next week, we will be having our Shotsuki monthly memorial service. I believe also next Saturday, that's May 5th or 6th? May 6th. The Fraser Valley Buddhist Temple is having a fundraising dinner. So if anybody's interested to join them, they put on a wonderful roast beef dinner usually out in the Fraser Valley. Please contact Lucy Yoshioka to get tickets. Okay. Are there any other announcements that need to be made? Oh, well, thank you very much again for coming out. And thank you to those on Zoom.
Thank you. Bye.
Francis,
Thank you.